Hey people. So, wow. Um, yeah. Anybody who's, tired of me talking about my patterns, you should probably skip this video because I'm right back in it. Um, and this one goes out. I thought I should start dedicating these. This one goes out to my brother Bliss, and it'll be apparent why. Um, and this is one of those things like, it's like I said right at the beginning of these posts, I realized, I'm gonna if this post is gonna mean anything, then I've got to be honest and I've got to tell the truth and you know and actually really say what's really going on within me. So I was just doing this experiment again. This is from the book Worthy that I think I mentioned several weeks ago. I'm doing this exercise, going into basically you're discovering your underlying commitments, which is a way of saying when you have a goal in life that you have not accomplished, right? Let's say there's a goal you've had for a long time and you haven't accomplished it, you haven't made progress towards it, or you haven't actually gotten to where you want to be over a long enough period of time that you probably should have gotten to the goal. Then the question is, well, what are you actually committed to that is preventing that? Because chances are you might think you're committed to this goal, but actually there's an underlying commitment that's something else, and it's not conscious, and there's a kind of like holding on to a way of being or just a different way of living that won't allow you to manifest this goal because it's because you can't actually transfer your commitment to it fully. Anyway, so I'm doing this exercise and I realize, holy shit, there was something I've been saying to myself recently. Intuitively, I've been saying to myself, I can tell that I'm attached to creative work. And I'm attached, I have been attached, I think I'm letting go of this, but I have been attached, I've noticed a lot of attachment to being creative. And I felt like if I didn't succeed as an artist, then I was not creative. And there was something in that was like the most deplorable thing. It was like unforgivable. So, and I was like, well, that's weird. Why I don't even know why I would feel that way. But I just knew that I did. And so I was doing this exercise and I realized that, so my father is an incredibly gregarious, outgoing human being, just over the top. It literally makes friends at the supermarket, literally invites like near strangers on vacation with us to Italy when we were kids. Like, just the most outgoing and open human being, one of the most open human beings I've ever met. And my brother, Bliss, is also an incredibly open, gregarious, friendly, everybody loves him kind of person. And there was a period in my own life where I felt like I was kind of like the nerdy, intellectual, maybe sort of like proto-spiritual one of the family. And even though, Bliss was my younger brother, I still kind of felt like, well, Bliss just kind of has this spark. He's just got this openness, this ability to just make people laugh, make people feel good. And I felt like I wanted that. And I think I also associated it with my dad. I think I saw this kind of happening. I saw Bliss manifesting this, and I was like, well, there was something in the attachment to, feeling my dad's kind of masculine energy as that and wanting to be associated with that. So I sort of started slanting my own personality that way, or like leaning into things that were kind of not really me, but that I thought might open me up. Or, I remember going to acting school in New York and thinking that was going to open me up somehow by doing all this deep psychological work and, doing some performance training. I was going to somehow come out of my shell, and like the opposite happened. I got slammed. That year just like punched me in the gut, kicked me to the ground, and like left me there. I was like, oh my God. Am I ever not creative? Was my takeaway from my year at the Neighborhood Playhouse. And and oddly, that year sort of like punted me back towards myself. The next thing I did was go to music conservatory and start studying piano again. It kind of like kicked me back into the lane that I think I was meant to be in. And all this is to say that even up until relatively recently in my life, I can remember being very attached to this label of creative and needing to be creative. And I think it came from this thing. I had a memory come back. Bliss made these tapes when he was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And he made these tapes. It was audio cassettes of James Bond movies. James Bond, not even movies, James Bond scenes where James Bond would like go in and like shoot somebody, or James Bond would go in and like sleep with 3 different women, or James Bond would pull up in a car that had a zillion billion toys that he got from Q. So you've got to imagine like James Bond solving murders, solving like international spy stories and sleeping with multiple women, all told through the voice of like a 7-year-old. It was hilarious. And I remember when my parents heard them, it was like, they were just like so gushingly proud of him. And it was so fun. He was so fucking creative. And so that was just one among several memories. I ended up being cast as some of the Bond girls in these episodes, which was my acting highlight to date at age 10 or whatever. But I just remember this acknowledgement that my brother got for being so open and so free. And I think that kind of held this thing out to me, like I want to be like that, like I want to be able to be like that, And interestingly, what I've found now, and what I'm finding more and more as I sort of lean into where I truly am now, is the only thing that really opens me up is actually being who I am. Surprise, surprise, right? But genuinely just being myself, whether it's intellectual or spiritual or musical. I mean, at this point, I've done a lot of work in theater. I mean, I'm still not. I'm totally comfortable with who I am now. I'm totally comfortable with who I am, and I know. I feel like I know what my talents are. I feel like I know, and I'm happy with them, and I'm happy to be who I am, and I want to manifest what's real to me. I'm at a point where this is what this whole like letting go of like being creative. As soon as I let that go, this is like probably, I'd say about 6 months ago, I started really getting serious about seeing that and going, I think I'm gonna not let that label run me anymore. And as soon as I did that, I mean, I met Kyle Cease. I started teaching piano in a whole different way. I've got a business emerging out of this. I'm doing a live show on Kyle's platform. I've got songs coming out of me. I've got a piano. I'm feeling really good at the piano now. It's like I did more. As soon as I let go of needing to be creative, I have done more creative stuff and felt more creative in the last 6 months than I ever have by letting go of that need. And I think it's because that need was tied to somehow being somebody that I'm not. And and I'm sure that may have, the way that I navigated all this may have gotten dicey for Bliss as well. So we might have to talk about that one, brother. But that's where I am today, seeing that piece of conditioning and that piece of past experience kind of flashing up for me. So it's big, it's good, and wow for family dynamics, huh? But yeah, I'm sure there may be more on this topic, but that's where I've landed for the day. And I think every time I kind of go here to this place, I'm just so grateful for my family and the people who've been on this journey with me and have been my it's like being astronauts on this planet for 90 years. You just get born together and then you're in the capsule forever together. It's quite something, and I'm grateful to all my family and loved ones and anybody who signed up to be with me on this ride. So I love you all. Thanks everybody for watching. See you soon.